So continuing on from yesterday, just been on a run. I'll stick some of that on the video rather than you just looking at my ugly mug. But I thought continue from yesterday, really. So yesterday's video is probably a little bit, I don't know, it sounded a little bit depressing. However, it's not all depressing, it's actually been quite good. I'm on my last day of my holiday today, so that's why I took out the camera on my last day. Probably should have done it at the start. Took out the camera and just took a little film going down the beach so you can see what that's like. So as I'm talking, you can see that rather than me. So continuing from yesterday, so for myself, like I said, the hardest thing starting again, especially when you're getting a bit older, I suppose, is having to do all the things that you did and that you had when you were younger, but having to do them all over again, and then also having to do them on your own, and doing that whilst you're still processing the loss of your, so loss as in death, but the loss as in not in your life anymore, of the person that you've been with for so long, and the family ties that you've had. It's a hard process to just, to just get through, and just all of a sudden 1 minute that's there, the next minute that's gone, and you are back, sort of finding your own feet again on your own. I'm in a fortunate position, I've got a really good job that I enjoy, I've got good mates, and I've got family that are right by me. But when I look at it retrospectively, it's like I've gone back 10, 15 years to what I originally had, and I'm thinking now, well, where would I have been if I hadn't have met my ex-wife now, was going to be, what position would I have been in? I know it's not good to always, look back, always look to the future, things happen for a reason, but for my own head, this is why I'm making this video. It's, I suppose not really for anyone else out there, but, people that may know me, you hopefully can understand, and the people that are possibly going through it, hopefully it connects, resonates with what, I'm going through, potentially what you're going through, and may help, in some way. So for myself, some of the things I found difficult was having to step back, effectively just stepping back in life. Ended up going from, a family home to going back to my mum's at, 40 odd years old, having to go back to my mum's, and it's almost like you're reverting back, and it's great that I've got that option. Some people don't have that option, having a parent around where they can rely on them, but as a grown man, going from one extreme where you've got, your family house, your job, your life, and then the next breath you're moving out and living in a bedroom, it's hard hitting, so mentally trying to process a marriage breakup, losing a family, and also having to go back to being in a bedroom and living like a teenager, I suppose, if you like, and then feeling the burden as well. It's a lot of pressure on your mind. At the same time, you've obviously got to then continue with your job. You can't lose your job. You still need to, have a way of life. You still need to get on with it. Fortunate for me, like I said on my last video, I've got a good set of mates who can be quite ruthless. They can be quite nice. Sometimes when you need the, arm around the shoulder, they're there. Other times they're there to, take the mick out of you and book your ideas up, G you up, and try and get you going. So I'm fortunate enough in that. However, it's when you step away from that situation and you're on your own, mentally, that's when it can hit. So coming away on my own on this holiday, I won't lie, I was actually bricking it, because I thought to myself, well, what do I do? It's I'm here on my own, don't know anyone, and to be fair, on this holiday I haven't seen many English, so that's a language barrier from just being abroad anyway, and then all the other people at the hotel seem to be French, German, Dutch, so again, that isolates you a little bit, but I've actually enjoyed the experience. So getting away and actually thinking, and not thinking in some circumstances, just sunbathing and then just enjoying the sun, getting out of the crappy weather from England, enjoying the sun has made me feel a lot better. Okay, and just running around, the area, and getting out and about, and just sort of, no set plan, and just walking around, getting my steps in, treating myself to a new Garmin Fenix 8 Pro. as my 50th present, if you like. So, which is, by the way, anyone who's got an Apple Watch, if you're saying your Apple Watch is better than this, then you need to take your head out your ass, mate, because it's not true. Anyway, I'm sort of going off on a tangent. Yeah, so getting out and about, running around, just not actually thinking about anything, no plan, and just enjoying the sun and doing stuff that you don't get to do every day in England. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the case when I landed here. It was peeing it down. It was cold, and I thought, what the hell's going on here? And then the next day, because it's abroad, the sun comes out, and everything feels a lot better. Only thing I did is my mistake is drinking. Now, I'm not a drinker anyway. I used to be when I was younger, but I'm not a drinker now. I find that if you rely on drink, if you're one of those people that rely on drink, then it's going to give you a depressive state. It's going to make you, think about things not in a logical way. And being from a drinker when I was younger, a lot of mistakes I made were through drink. And I think a lot of people, the things that you've done wrong in your life where you're drinking, and you look back and think, well, would I have done that without a drink? The answer's probably no. And it's the same situation now. So, being over here, nice weather, forgetting how much I'm drinking, and then my mind drifts back, start to get, emotional about, what was and why did it change and what did I do wrong, all those things happen, and that's a natural reaction. But for me personally, staying off the drink is a big plus for me because I'm not a drinker, and also trying to get back into the fitness. So only advice I can give out there is if you're someone who relies on drink and you're going through any problems in your life, you need to try and knock that on the head, because that's not gonna clear your mind. It's not gonna help you progress. But I'm no expert. Everyone deals with things differently. For myself, this holiday and being away has helped me out immensely. I would say that going forward now, I know that I can actually just go, well, if I want a break, I'll go on my own. It doesn't matter. Now I know from being here the things that I want to do more. So, for instance, the cycling, to get out and go on a bike all day and then come back to the hotel room, or to the hotel and just, even if I did have a couple of beers and just relax, I know that I'm having, something that's going to, stimulate me mentally, physically, and also it's going to get me out and about, and you are going to meet new people, whether that's just on holiday or friendships long term. So for me, next time I do this, and I probably will do this again, I'm gonna sort of plan it a little bit better. I see a lot of people going out in groups as well, so the next time I go away will be with the lads. I've done it already once at Christmas, which was great. Strange enough, all of us in a similar situation, living like single men, but actually growing up, which was a little bit weird. But yeah, again, I'm going to try and do that again this year, and just make sure I keep all my mates close by. And the biggest thing is to open up and to not keep things in. Hence the reason I've got this camera. When you're on your own, you haven't got that person to talk to. You can pick up a phone, but it's not the same thing. So I thought what I'd do is I'd do this, and I'd try and, speak out and speak to somebody else that's actually going through something similar, and hopefully, that can help them. Might leave some feedback on a comment, whatever it might be. Okay, but this is something I'm going to try and challenge myself going forward. And it's not going to be all doom and gloom. It's not going to be a mental health thing. So there's no worry about that. It's just a case of getting out on video and actually start doing it. Self-awareness thing, going out and about and filming is a bit weird. But it's something that I'm going to get used to. So anyway, last day of the holiday. Forest are playing today against Burnley. We're also in the semi-final of the Europa League. So come on, you Reds, and I'll see you all back in England.